The Raptors have had some really bad losses this season, but this might take the cake here to this Memphis Grizzlies team. Let's break it all down and wrap things up in tonight's post-game show. As a reminder, we do watch parties like this for virtually every Raptors game and post shows like this for virtually every Raptors game. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel to keep up to date with all that content. Because rain or shine with the Raptors, we're out here doing the content. So get on board with the amateur army today and drop a like if you enjoyed this one along the way. All right, the Raptors, 108-100 losers to the Memphis Grizzlies. And I really just got to read out, like, with all due respect to everybody who started for the Grizzlies today, NBA players, the Memphis Grizzlies today started John Conchar, Luke Kennard, Vince Williams Jr., Santi Aldama, Jaren Jackson Jr. John Morant's out injured, Desmond Bane's out injured, Marcus Smart's out injured all season. Yeah, they haven't had to see that of Brandon Clark, whatever. Other players injured for the team as well. And that's their starting five. Aldama actually exited the game early as well due to an injury on top of that. And he was playing quite well for this team. Yet still, the Raptors were down the entire game. I mean, they went down 10 early. Actually, they weren't down 10. They were down like high singles early. Went down by 10 in the second quarter. Went down by 10 early in the third. Ended up being down by 19 at one point in this game as well. They were down 90-71. Decide that they feel like playing a little bit later on in this game, but still end up losing overall. This game was very winnable by the Raptors. You could talk all you want about OG trade, which it's been a while now. Like, we got our two guys to replace him, so that shouldn't be a factor. The Siakam trade could still be weighing on the team a little bit, but even still, the Raptors were at the Scotiabank Arena, where they have done okay this season, and they came into this game as 7-point favorites. Not really any excuse to look this bad against this Grizzlies team, but they managed to do so. And a lot of it was down to, some individual stuff that wasn't great. Like Gary Trent, so hot and cold, a bad night from him. The bench not doing much. Rough game from Manuel quickly. A lot of turnovers by the Raptors certainly didn't help whatsoever, but it also felt as though there was a real distinct lack of game plan overall. Very poorly coached game by Darko Rajakovic, and this is a pretty good example for the crowd that's saying, like, who could do anything better with this team. Like, the Raptors roster, clearly looking at this roster right now, is better than the roster the Grizzlies had. The Grizzlies have a good coach, Taylor Jenkins, and he's getting the most out of what he has here. He's getting a lot out of Vince Williams Jr. right now. Luke Kennard played quite the game. I was not expecting. They're getting decent minutes out of John Conchar. Like, the roster sucks, but you see that the coach is getting stuff out of the players that you wouldn't expect. On the other end, for the Raptors, you're met by a coach maybe not very good. The preparation for this game was very bad. Defensively, it doesn't really seem like the players know where to be or what to do. The help defense is very problematic. Doesn't exist a lot of the time. Players just don't really understand what their role is defensively, and it leads to a lot of easy buckets and easy looks for three. The defense on the whole this year has been bad. Even with OG Anunoby on this team, the Raptors were struggling immensely on defense, and it's heightened even more now 100%. And it very much doesn't help that you don't have a rim protector in Jakob Poeltl available, and there's nobody on the bench who can fill that void. But the help defense was very bad today. The off-ball defense on the perimeter has been poor all season, and it just feels like they don't really know what they're doing. On offense, the Raptors roster in general right now, not a lot of players who create individually. Like, RJ Barrett can kind of get his head down and just fight his way to the rim, and he had a terrific game, and he does that. Scottie Barnes kind of do the same. But in terms of, like, advantage creation, the Raptors don't have a ton of it. Like, well, Scottie's working on getting his handle a bit tighter. He's 22. That should come. Manuel Quickly's working on getting his handle tighter. He's 24. That should come. But right now, as it stands, the Raptors don't have a lot of great initiators. Definitely not a lot of ISO creators. So what the Raptors should do is try to avoid that a lot. So what Darko does instead to mitigate the concerns with individual creation is that he really tries to force a lot of ISO play right now, which he didn't when Siakam was here. But a lot of ISO play today. A lot of the first player has to just beat his guy and look for kick-out opportunities. But the Memphis Grizzlies did a great job. Like when Quickly beat his player, they'd collapse in the paint, take away the kickouts. When Scottie Barnes did it, they would collapse and take away kickouts, and it led to a whole bunch of turnovers. And it just didn't really look like the Raptors knew what to do. Like when Quickly drove in and got met by two players, it didn't really look like he knew what the options were. It's kind of just like making it up on the fly for these players, and it doesn't feel as though there's a ton of preparation in place. Like Scottie Barnes had a phenomenal game, kind of ruined a touch by the 5 turnovers, but some of them were sloppy, but some of it is just like schemes here that makes this so much more difficult. Emmanuel Quickly, he didn't play well. 4 turnovers, also not good, but like the schemes are very much not helping here. And I get you want to give Quickly a lot of on-ball sets, and he still has 10 assists in this game. But like definitely where Quickly was better today was receiving off-ball jump shots and not as much on-ball. And I get you want to push this stuff and try to improve this thing, but you're very much not catering to the strengths of your team. And that has been the problem all season. You know, we're 44 games in at this point. At some point, you got to start to figure some things out as a coach. We're 44 games in, and that's not really been apparent. But like I said, it wasn't just coaching. There was some tough performances. There were 2 good ones. Scottie Barnes, 6 of 14 for the Raptors. Good Lord. 22 points. 12 rebounds, 5 of which were offensive rebounds. 8 assists and 6 blocks. Yeah, I get it. 5 turnovers. But in a game the Raptors were this bad, he was a +2 and the only person in the positive on the night. RJ Barrett had 29 points, another game where he just explodes from a point standpoint. 12 of 18 shooting. Didn't hit a 3. Cleaned up the free throws a little bit. Also had 9 rebounds where we really needed it. An assist and a block. His defense still continues to be a little bit of a problem. He's not a good defender. I respect that he hustles there, but he's still not a great individual defender. He's 23. This can come to him. Thaddeus Young actually ended up having a decent game off the bench here. 12 points, 5 of 9 from the field, especially late in the game as the Raptors are making their trademark, quote-unquote, fake comeback. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals to go with it. A nice late burst from Thad, and it's nice to see considering he has to keep playing right now. Bruce Brown was horrible to start this game. Kind of bounced back a little with a 7-point performance, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 5 shooting. I don't imagine Bruce Brown will be a Raptor for very much longer, but while he's here, good player to get to use. Dennis Schroeder wasn't his best game. I think the criticism against Dennis Schroeder this season has been a little bit too harsh overall, but this game doesn't help that cause. Not much from Boucher, bit of energy in the first half when we needed it. Grady Dick, wish he would get a bit more minutes, but 15, I guess, was 15 is quite a bit for him. And Jonte Porter, only 6 minutes here. Yeah, I don't really, like, people love Jonte Porter, and for a two-way player, he's good for a two-way player. I don't see him lasting in an NBA rotation very long. You know, he's a big, he'll shoot threes. I don't know if he's much of a floor spacer, but he can shoot a little bit. But as a big, you have to be able to rebound. He's not a good rebounder, and you have to be able to score on the inside, and he doesn't do that. So there's a cap until that is sorted, if ever. But where it goes wrong for Raptors, like, where do you start here of team stats? Like, they got completely destroyed from the possession battle. They shoot more free throws, which cuts into that. They shot 11 more free throws, but the Grizzlies take 16 more shots. They were more efficient from the field. They were more efficient from 3. They got more rebounds, 8 more offensive rebounds. They won the turnover battle. Granted, not by much. The Raptors had 17 here. The Grizzlies had 16. But the Grizzlies played a great game here. Like, they with what they had, they played a great game. They got the most out of their guys and very much deserve to win this basketball game. Going into this game, look at the Grizzlies lineup, I was thinking the Raptors should probably cover the 7-point spread. And here they are. They lose outright. So let's have a look at the Raptors' schedule coming up. Well, this was your easy one. This was your easy one, too. This one ain't easy. Clippers coming up on Friday. I know we played really well against the Clippers in LA last week, but the way the Clippers are playing, the way we look right now, that might be a really tough game coming up for the Raptors. But if you are on Team Tank, which I definitely am not, this was a massive game because the Raptors, who have now lost 3 games in a row, have actually sunk beneath the Memphis Grizlies in the NBA standings. They are quite a bit of ways from the Trailblazers and Hornets still, but they have fallen even below the Memphis Grizzlies, who have basically been without Ja Morant all season, had him briefly and had a few wins in that stretch, but considering how depleted the Grizzlies are and where they've been, it is quite remarkable that the Raptors are even lower than they are. And sure, Siakam, OG are gone, but Siakam was here for, I think he played 40 games for the Raptors this season. OG played 30 plus games for the Raptors this season. So not a whole lot more excuses for this. Siakam played 39 games for the Raptors. Not a whole lot more excuses can really go into this. This team isn't very good, and I understand that, but it very much isn't as bad as this. They are not bad enough to be 12 games below 500, on pace to finish this season. Oh my God, they're on pace for 20 to 21 games under 500 this season. We get it. There's some stuff that they're not very good at, but they are much better than this. This was quite the low. Listen, we lost to the fucking Detroit Pistons, so this ain't rock bottom. We've been there. We're just trudging down low for now, and with no end in sight. However, long-term sight, future ahead, Scottie Barnes is terrific. Showcased that once again. R.J. Barrett is really turning around the harsh opinions I had on him pre-trade. Manuel quickly, some doubts about his long-term ceiling are settling in on how high I had it recently, but every reason to believe that he is a great player that can continue to get better going forward. So that'll do it. Thanks so much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more Raptors content like this. There won't be one of these on Friday. I'm away for the Friday game against the Clippers. Maybe thankfully. We'll see. But plenty of content on the way to Amateur. Make sure you're subscribed.